You know things, I know some too. Sit right down, the Femsplain 'em to you. If there's a thing you want to explain, these two feminists can entertain. Nerdy stuff, sexy stuff, so much to know. Tune in for the Femsplained Show.
Femsplained!
Hello, listeners.
Hi, Avalon. Hi, listeners. It's been a long time.
It has been a while because we've been really busy having fun, and that's it. That is Diana.
That
She
is Avalon.
Sunburnt.
It's actually better. I'm rope burnt right now, actually. That's my biggest concern right now.
Man, no one asked about that.
I'm volunteering that information. And we were camping, so that's why we haven't been caring about this podcast. But we really missed it a lot.
We did, and I think we're more than 1 week behind, so I think we've been camping and weddinging.
Yeah, my sister's wedding also happened, and so I was a bit of a distracted person for that.
Understandably.
Hopefully, understandably so.
Where was I during your sister's wedding? Not like why didn't I go, but I feel like I was also doing something interesting, but maybe I wasn't. Oh, was it Pride?
Yes, it was Pride.
Geez, so I also was surviving Pride. Okay.
Yeah. So there was just a lot happening in the last 2 weeks.
Get off our tits, you know? Like, we are busy people. We are not here just to serve and perform for you.
Yeah, even though that is maybe the point of the podcast, it is not something that you get to demand from us. So stop sending all those aggressive hate mail emails about when's the new Femsplained. You suck.
Put away the torches.
Yeah.
Call off the mob.
It's over.
Here we are.
We're back. A dinosaur
like
story.
a dinosaur story. Yeah.
Yes. And welcome to Femsplained.
Yeah, I guess. What is Femsplained?
Well, since you asked nicely, Avalon, Femsplained is a girls-only clubhouse podcast where two queer femme humans named Diana and Avalon get to nerd out over things that they feel passionate about.
But that doesn't mean that people of every gender and non-gender can't listen, laugh, and learn with us, right?
I guess.
Right. But it sounds like we feel like it's important to have this powerful, femme-led, candid conversation about our experiences and occupy our space.
I think that that's just fine. Yeah. Last week, or 2 weeks ago,
I don't fucking know. I don't know when it was, and I don't know what we talked about.
I Femsplained about Rent, and I ranted.
That was the last one.
Well,
we also did a live episode after that, and I think that's why I'm confused. Or not a live. We did a YouTube. Whatever.
We did a live YouTube, and that was about movies.
No, it wasn't. What was it actually about?
It wound up coming back around to movies. It was about like all the different movies that we are into, and people were talking about that. But for the first about 45 minutes, it was just about our animals.
No, that's what it was. It was about our animals, and then it was just about The Man in the Iron Mask, which is not a movie that we like. I mean, we might like it, but it's not like a top 10.
No, certainly not.
All right. Well, if you want to hear us talk about all of the animals that make noise in the background of this podcast and also The Man in the Iron Mask, go to our YouTube channel.
There you go. Femsplained podcast on YouTube.
All right. So that was great. This week, I think we're gonna mutually explain something this week.
We're going to do it together, but as usual, we do not like to veer off at all from tradition. We need a man to help us kick this baby off.
What? Kick the baby off?
I don't know. That sounds like a saying, right?
No. It'd be funny if, like, in football, instead of it being the old pigskin, like, it was the old
kick
baby.
The old baby. That's... Yeah, we need a man to come and explain sports metaphors and this topic.
I mean, legitimately, if somebody could explain football, that would be really helpful for me.
That would be really helpful for me to fall asleep to. So if anybody wants to do that, I'm in.
Don't you ever find yourself in a situation where you have to watch it and you literally don't know the scoring system or the rules?
You know, I've been in a situation where I've had to watch football, and I gotta tell you, I've never cared about...
What if you didn't have a phone?
I mean, there are commercials. And there are a lot of commercials. There are a lot of commercials, and they break a lot. They stop so much in football.
That's the problem. That's what I don't understand.
They stop so much, and it gives you a real opportunity to think about the things in football that matters. Like, did you know that all those little lines and like the little markers, they're not really there. Those are digitally edited in.
How do they do that? How did they live green screen lines underneath the players?
I know. It fascinates me. It fascinates me because they've been doing that for a long ass time too.
Have they?
Yeah. I don't know.
God.
It freaks me out, but I like to talk about it every single time that the players stop playing. And so eventually someone turns off the football game because
listeners, if
Diana
you understand the witchcraft that's being used on the ground
at football games.
At football games, please, for the love of God, email us and tell us what's happening.
Yeah, explain that to me. That's all I want to hear about football. That, and maybe like if you have a dissertation about how it should be abolished, I'm willing to hear that too.
Do you think that, all right, hot take.
Yeah.
Let's say that I'm pregnant right now.
Oh my God. Okay, let's say that.
And I have a son.
You have another son and you're also pregnant, or you're pregnant with a son?
I'm pregnant with, let's just say, Avalon, is it responsible or irresponsible for me to allow a child to play football?
I think it's super irresponsible.
What if it's their greatest love in life?
I think that allowing them to discover that it's their greatest love in life is also irresponsible.
What if their greatest love in life is like free climbing?
Yeah. Okay. So if your son, here, let me rephrase this. So
but
if your
also,
son,
they don't have to be a son. I only said son because football tends to have male exclusive. But let's just open this up.
Absolutely, yeah. I equally want our sons and daughters to suffer long-term brain damage and die early.
Non-gendered human.
Yeah.
Procreation offspring.
Yes. I want equal opportunity across gender lines for people to have suffered long-term brain damage. If your child expresses a deep love and interest in smacking themselves in the head with a bat over and over again, several times a day, all throughout their growth, would you be like, wow, it's their greatest love in life? I've got to let them do this. I have to allow. I mean, I feel like there's part of parenting that's like, I should keep this child alive. I don't know. I think that's part of it. So I feel like football is something that culturally we have failed as a nation that's supposed to take care of our kids. I mean, but we fail in a lot of other ways, like, guns.
Every other way.
And every other way in our education system and, healthcare, pretty much everything. But yeah, I think football makes me particularly grossed out because it's not just like we allow our kids to basically give themselves long-term brain damage, but we're allowing them to do it, and adults get entertainment value out of it and go and watch and bet on them and scream at them to do better at giving themselves brain damage and pay money for them to not go to college so that they can do that more. I don't know. It's particularly gross that adults are jerking off to it.
I mean, it is very gross that adults are doing that also.
Yeah.
Literally, they are doing that.
Yeah.
And those people are bad. Well, I'm totally on the same page. I just felt like you had a good rant coming.
Yeah. I was real fired up for it. It's 9:20 in the morning. Let's get angry.
It's 6:20 here.
I can't believe you're awake right now.
I don't know why I'm awake.
All right, but that's not the topic. Francis, tell us what the real topic is.
For the love of God.
Please.
In a man's plain everything's explained. In a man's plain tell the ladies what to say. In a man's plain minute. Putting 1 minute on the man watch and go. Labyrinth. So let me tell you what Labyrinth is about. You've got this Class A gentleman, Jareth, king of an entire kingdom. Kingdom of what? That's irrelevant. He builds a beautiful castle, and he romantically woos the ungrateful Sarah, who, like most chicks, just wants to sit around and complain about her family all day. Anyway, she's got beef with her brother. So what's the king do? He... also not relevant. But suffice it to say, he takes care of the problem. He takes care of all her problems. And after 90 minutes of this girl constantly leading him on and giving him mixed signals, she decides, out of nowhere, that somehow he's the bad guy. Seriously, what this movie taught me from a young age is that nice guys finish last, chicks will always use their ugly male friends just to achieve their own ends, and there's no problem that can't be solved by leather pants and a codpiece. That's your Mansplain Minute.
Wow.
That was good. That was so... Well, I don't know what that was. Listeners, I'm going to let you in on a secret.
Here's the hot secret that you probably could already figure out for yourselves.
We can't get him to record that damn Mansplain Minute until the 11th hour. So we never know what he said. Yeah.
It's very rare. There have been a few instances.
It's so nice when we do.
I love it. I love when I get to know what's coming.
I mean, to be fair with this one, we haven't asked him to do it yet because we did this impromptu while he was asleep.
Yeah. We snuck away to do a Femsplained episode.
What I think he will say, I think he'll be actually pretty good, pretty useful. He might reference some of the stuff from the special features.
Which I'm super excited about.
Which, like, we've all seen. You know, it's not a surprise when someone knows something from the special features.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, the topic is a mutual topic, and it is The Labyrinth. David Bowie and
Jim Hensen's The Labyrinth is the full title.
Jim Hensen's The Labyrinth. Yes.
Yeah, and it's the best thing that man has ever created.
Wow. So I'm not gonna say it's the best thing. It is definitely one of my...
It's definitely a thing.
Favorite things on this earth, though, for sure.
Yep.
So Avalon, why don't you tell me what's The Labyrinth? What is that? I was about to say what's Avalon? What's The Labyrinth?
It's a good movie. It is a children's live action musical feature film from the, I think, mid to late 80s. Mm-hmm. Starring baby Jennifer Connelly and David Bowie as himself. And
not actual baby Jennifer Connelly. She is just young in it. But there's also a real baby in it.
There's also a real baby who is the son of one of, like, the producers. And then everyone else featured in the film is a very, very extravagant and amazing puppet from Hensen Studios. And it tells the story of, like, a sort of a fae child kidnapping situation.
Which is amazing.
I mean, spoilers, obviously. Yeah, it's
so
great.
Many spoilers.
It's so fucking great, and it's really well researched, supposedly. I've been told that, like, they really took a deep dive into lots of different obscure lore for it. They had to use a very complicated summoning spell to get the actual Goblin King to appear to be in the movie. They pulled it off. All of it is real. And
I mean, it was years in the making because David Bowie was summoned here, had to grow up in a human life, live all the complicated ways of a human until he was finally able to reveal himself as Jareth the Goblin King in this biopic that Jim Henson painstakingly put together. And
I think in order to summon him, there had to be a real baby exchange. You know, the original David Jones had to be sacrificed.
Right. And, I mean, I hope that David Jones is happy somewhere with the goblins.
No, he's not. He is not.
Why? Maybe he's
like a slave.
Yeah. Well, he could have started as a slave to the Fae, and he could have worked his way
to becoming a Goblin King?
Not a Goblin King.
Yes, though, because, like, what is the world? And now we're going to have a Man in the Iron Mask situation with two Goblin Kings.
Because David Bowie went back to the Fae realm when he passed away from this human sack life that he's been living just in the interim. So he went back to the Fae realm only to find that David Jones has acquired his powers and amassed a following and has taken up his throne.
Oh my God.
Looks just like him.
Who's the
has
rightful
the
king?
Same codpiece
Oh my God, my heart is racing. We just wrote the sequel.
to the Labyrinth.
It is solid. It is fucking solid.
The problem is now we're going to have to do 2 summoning spells to get David Bowie and David Jones back here to be in the biopic. We don't want them back
here. Oh, to be in it.
Yeah.
It's okay. We just need to go there.
Oh, and do it documentary style. Okay.
Yeah. Like
it'll save us a lot of money on puppets.
It's going to be like The Office.
Because we won't be able to leave, so it'll have to be 12 seasons long.
And also, David Jones has been Michael Scott, basically.
Yeah. Time. Like, everyone knows he's not the real Goblin King, but, like, he makes the Fey realm a little bit more fun than when the real Goblin King was around. And, like, you had to do work all the time. Like, David Jones has a lot of unnecessary birthday parties. And, like...
Oh, he does.
And he dresses up in costumes and stuff.
He also has a terrible singing voice. So all of his... In the sequel, all of his musical numbers are going to be rough.
Yeah.
We're going to have to auto-tune it a lot.
Yeah, as opposed to, in the original, we have David Bowie, the Goblin King, not just singing, but just making sound effects as well.
He's casting a spell. He's casting a spell with real Fey magic. And sometimes he's got to make baby sounds.
That's my favorite part of the Labyrinth, is that, and just for anybody who hasn't yet watched the special features of the DVD for the Labyrinth, or just somehow has not come across this fact, in Dance Magic Dance, there are several parts in the chorus where he says, and baby says, and the baby makes a little baby laugh, a little goo, 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 goo. Well, they couldn't get the baby to actually do that, so David Bowie sat in a recording studio and did his best baby gurgle noises for the song.
To be fair, I'm not saying that they're excellent baby gurgle noises, but they at least, to me, genuinely don't sound like it was him. Like, it might sound like an adult was doing it, but it doesn't sound like the same adult was doing it. And I think that's the most important part.
That's the most
important part. He did achieve that. I think it would have been very distracting if it was a very Bowie-sounding baby.
It was very sexy gurgles. Thank heaven. Wow.
Yeah, so that's Labyrinth. I have so many things that I can say, and I don't know what to... Like, not facts, just feelings. I have so many feelings.
Oh, say your feelings. Say your feelings. I want all of your feelings.
I have so many. First, all right. Let's just start in the beginning.
Okay.
Long intro.
So long.
Good song, but long intro. When you're a kid, you don't appreciate that song because it's boring, but it's actually a really solid song. Really bad CGI owl flying around during the whole intro.
That I did not notice was CGI as a kid. Bless my tiny little heart.
It looks like a Lego.
It looks
like a Lego
wow,
movie.
That real owl.
The owl, snowy owl, we break to live action on our protagonist, Sarah, in Ren Fair garb, in a public park alone, rehearsing
for just
some
herself.
Kind of dialogue, some kind of monologue. We'll say a monologue, because, yes, she's alone, and that's what that word means.
Yeah.
To no one. But her dog is there, and then she just, like, freaks the fuck out because she realizes it's late and it's raining, and, like, what was she fucking doing? How old is Sarah, first of all?
I think she's supposed to be, like, 15, but she definitely looks like she's 18. Which makes her behavior a little jarring.
I think 15 is, for the way she's written, I think she's younger than that.
I was being a little generous with 15, but I was that big of a loser when I was 15. So I think that's where I'm giving.
No.
You didn't know me back then, Avalon. I was a big loser.
So Sarah is... Like, at what age, because I assume that you watched this continuously throughout your life.
Over and over again.
At what age did you stop relating to Sarah? Like, at what age did you realize that Sarah was not a sympathetic character? And like, that Sarah was actually the bad guy?
I wouldn't say that she's the bad guy. I would say that she's not a sympathetic character, maybe, but definitely not the bad guy.
Not the bad guy.
I think it's very easy to fall... victim, especially when you're young, to the wiles of goblin trickery.
No. I'm talking about pre-Labyrinth Sarah.
She's just a brat. She's just a brat. She's
brat.
not.
You don't get to be a nerdy weirdo and a stuck-up brat.
I mean, but you often are as a teenager. No. I sure was.
No. And she's not a teenager. She's like 12.
Her age keeps dropping
Listen, I honestly think she's supposed to be 12. That's the only way that any of her behavior makes sense, because she has no problem-solving skills.
Wow. She has problem-solving skills. They just don't apply in crazy town where, you know, goblins are behind you every step, switching around your markings and stuff.
I think that Sarah is either 12 or she's on some hard drugs, because not actually because of the Labyrinth experience, but specifically when Sarah gets caught in the rain and then goes home, the interaction that she has within her house makes no sense. This fucking dog covered in mud, soaking wet. She tries to bring it in the house. Her parents are like, no, it needs to go in the garage. Valid.
Hell no. I would be like, all right, get a towel and dry it off. It's coming in the house. I'm not going to leave the dog out
like
in the
forever,
garage.
But just initially. Like, while we have this conversation, the dog needs to be in a warm, dry place that is not going to ruin this house, this pristine 80s mansion.
Yeah.
Number 2, why the fuck can't she babysit that kid?
Because she's a teenager and she's a brat and she doesn't want to. And it sucks because she has no life. So it's assumed that she is always going to be responsible for the kid. That's the part that sucks. She's a nerdy homebody who has no friends and no life. And so she wants to not have to babysit the kid, but she has no other options.
Diana, the kid was already put down for the night. She didn't have to do anything. And it's her fucking brother.
I know. Yes. Teenagers are bratty, Avalon. I know. Right. I know this is hard because you came out of the womb as a fully developed 22-year-old woman.
I didn't get bratty until college. Truly. Yeah. I got real bratty in college, but I had been great up until then.
Yeah.
And I'm still writing that out.
And you're you know, you also didn't have like siblings, which is, it's a weird dynamic. There's a lot of like jealousy and competition, and especially when there's like a 45-year age gap, which I think is the case in terms of the actors, at least, in the Labyrinth.
Sarah's behavior just gets crazier though that night. What is that fucking interaction where someone knocks gently on her door and says, "Are you okay, Sarah? Okay, we're going out for tonight. I'll see you later." And then Sarah goes, "You really wanted to talk to me, didn't you? You practically broke down my door."
It's dramatic. It's dramatic, and she's a little lonely theater kid. She's just she's full of drama.
She's making this really intense eye contact with herself in her vanity mirror, and she has the world's shittiest cardboard crown, like, crookedly on her head.
Yeah.
And she's just, like, putting on lipstick over and over again.
Because she wishes she lived the dramatic life that her little angsty musical theater loving heart wants. I have to assume she's a theater kid. You really think
that this is... Well, she's definitely a theater kid because we pan across a lot of theater bills.
Yeah.
You really think that this is a normal, well-written theater kid, and not
I think this is a very, very realistic teenager. Yeah, I do. It's dramatic. It's angsty. It's dumb and embarrassing. But yeah, that's what being a bratty teenager's like.
I've never talked to an adult about the opening scenes and them not be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, what the fuck is happening? If it were an adult human acting that way, or even like a 20-year-old acting that way, it would be what the fuck. But she's supposed to be like 14 or 15 years old.
Do you think there's an implication with how much like little kid stuff is in her room and how much she quote unquote grows up throughout the course of the movie that's a bad thing that she's supposed to move away from?
I think that's definitely the implication, and I hate that part.
But that doesn't make sense.
I hate that so much. But I think it's just that's the like coming of age stuff for girls, is that it's time to like grow up, and like you have to let go of things that you liked as a child. But Jim Henson does throw that little curveball at the end of it. Yeah. He throws that curveball at the end of it saying, yes, you have to grow up and you have to move away from these things, but you don't have to throw them away entirely. You can have them every now and then. It's okay to keep them to make yourself feel good sometimes, but you do have to grow up.
So how old do we think that Sarah was when her mom died?
I have to imagine that it's more recent because she has evil stepmother ideation.
Yeah.
It has to. Yeah.
And the new kid is pretty young.
The new kid's really young, yeah.
Okay.
He's like 1.
Right. So 2 years ago.
Yeah.
2+ years ago.
Yeah, Dad moved on like a little too fast for her comfort. Just
That's really
like that.
the only thing that helps me justify Sarah as a character. In the beginning. Pre-Labyrinth.
Pre-Labyrinth, yeah.
All right, so then Sarah accidentally summons a goblin sex god to
kidnap her little
baby
brother and to marry her.
And she does not... First of all, how is he gonna... I don't understand the long game for marrying her. Because if she was just like, cool, thanks for taking the baby, they would be done.
What do you mean? Say again.
Okay, so was Jareth's motivation to marry her, or over the course of the movie did he decide he wanted to marry her?
No, his motivation originally was to marry her.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that going to happen if she was just chill with the baby getting taken?
Because the goblins know better than that. They know that no one's actually meaning that they want humans to be kidnapped and taken away to the goblin city. They know this ahead of time. They know human behavior. They've been tricking us long enough. They know our motivations, and they know that we make stupid wishes all the time out of pain and anguish. That's why the secret key phrase is not anything secret or special at all. It's just, I wish that they would come and take you away right now. That's it. Just
I wish the
say
goblins
it.
would take you away right now, Diana.
Don't
Oh my
say
god, what if your
that.
lights just flickered out?
Oh my god, what if you had to go on an adventure with a sex god right now?
I think I'd
Francis
get distracted.
comes in the room right now. He's just waving a ball back and forth.
Francis is not the sex god.
Imagine if it was dormant
Bowie
all
is.
this time.
No, I mean, I don't know how dormant it is. I think it's like a low simmer. Can he wear that one outfit? His prom outfit?
Yeah.
Okay.
So his motivation, he knew that Sarah would change her mind eventually, but once you've made a pact with the goblins, that's it. You have to abide by their rules now.
I don't feel like saying the words in normal, like, fae lore or whatever is enough for a pact.
It's... All right,
I feel like there needs to be something a little more contractual happening.
Well, she sort of... I think she sort of invited them in to listen first, and then she said the words.
How does she invite them in to listen? Just by saying all of the bullshit?
By invoking them, by telling the story of the goblins.
That's a fucking published book.
It's a published book based on real facts, Avalon.
This must be happening all the goddamn time. Where do you think they live?
Connecticut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Something like that, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. So then well, first of all, let's just talk about David Bowie's appearance.
David Bowie's peen is a leading role in this movie.
So after her baby brother is kidnapped, David Bowie, his revealing scene is like a very frantic, what do you call it, synthesizer owl attacking a window, which then just explodes into magically like the most majestic, non-gendered human being you've ever seen.
Yeah. It's David Bowie in skin tight leggings
and leathers and feathers and fluffs and puffs.
Yeah. And his hair is it's immaculate. It's like each individual strand of hair has been spiked and fluffed. He's magnificent.
Maximum intensity.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you realized that he was a sex object and not just a scary bad guy?
I think the first time I saw that movie, I knew I knew that I wanted to do anything to make him happy. Like
Okay, that's fair. Because I remember as a kid thinking that there was some, like, he was very creepy and weird, but that there was something unmistakably romantic going on.
Yeah.
But it was not until I watched it at my birthday party to make fun of it, like in the 7th grade, after I hadn't seen it in a while, that me and all of my friends were like, what is his penis doing here?
Yeah. I saw it for the first time as a kid, so I was not really aware of the penis. I was just aware of the fact that he was unmistakably an important human being. Like I was just like, this is it was messed up. I was also really obsessed with the caterpillar for maybe too long.
I think that's okay. The caterpillar is one of the nicest and best characters.
Yeah.
Even though everything's his fault.
Everything's his fault.
It's like you.
Yeah. I'm so nice. And I'm so nice, but everything's my fault.
No, that's not like
that's accurate.
But something about the caterpillar does remind me of you. And I'm not sure what it is.
Like the complete dumbness and ignorant way in which I fuck things up.
No, I think it's just because he's so nice. He really wants to take care of her even though he does not know her.
Yeah. I really just want to make people some tea.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's probably what it is. And also just the way he's like this.
That is me. Avalon's just bobbing her head back and forth, side to side, like he does.
And I like he's kind of one of the most phallic things in the movie. If we think about how like weird and fleshy some of his segments are.
I don't want to think about that, Avalon. I never asked for this.
You did. You asked for it.
No.
When you woke me up at 5 a.m.
You woke up of your own volition.
I did. I woke up to having fucking heart palpitations. So yeah, the penis worm is lovely, and we all want him on our next Hot Topic t-shirt, and we all want a stuffed animal of him as long as it's not as gross as he actually is. But he is responsible for fucking up the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, all right, so here's where I don't get, maybe I'm trying to apply too much logic to sort of a fae situation. Is Jareth genuinely trying to kill her?
No, he's not trying to kill her. He wants her to marry him. He's trying to break her spirit so that she gives up and doesn't want to return to the human realm because she has lost all hope and self-worth. That's how the fairies act. No, he knew she'd be fine.
I don't know if he could have possibly known that she would be fine. It's not like there was a trigger word that she needed to say that she was avoiding saying that would be like, I'll marry you, like, make it stop. Like, there was nothing. Like, he just straight up was trying to slice and dice her. I think that he got carried away and forgot what he was doing.
I think that if she had not broken down and decided to marry him, but had also not made it in time, to rescue her brother, I think that he probably would have killed her for not being with him because he is a man.
He's not a man. He's a goblin, and I do think that he's of a third gender.
Yeah. He's fae, but he weirdly does represent this he does represent a masculine energy as well, I think.
Oh, I agree with you, but like, where is Jareth on the Kinsey scale?
Oh, on the Kinsey scale, he's like solid 3. He's right in the middle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think that your level of attraction, not your, but the general you, if you're attracted to Jareth in that costume, and how attracted you are to Jareth in that costume is really the litmus test for if you're queer or not.
Yeah. I think no matter what your personal gender identification is, if you are aroused by Jareth in Jareth's outfit,
you're queer.
Yeah. You're somewhere in that.
You're on this side of the aisle. And that is really the only test you need.
Yeah.
If you strongly considered giving up the baby.
To stay. I was like, I don't have a baby brother.
Maybe you are straight. Maybe that's if you're straight.
If you gave up
Here's
your
the
brother?
thing.
Okay.
If you see Jareth and you're in love with Jareth, you're queer, period. If the narrative around the sort of Stockholming is appealing to you, then you're straight.
Yeah. Because there's nothing that the straights love more than Stockholming someone into a relationship.
If we get into all that, then the gender roles seem pretty clearly defined, and Jared seems pretty toxic.
Yeah, yeah. What does he say at the end? Just obey me, do everything that I say, and I'll be your slave. Or whatever he says to her.
Diana, I know that line, and I'm blanking, and it's making me very anxious. It's just something, love me.
Do as I say.
And I will be your slave.
And I will be your slave.
Fear me, love me, do as I say, and I will be your slave.
Yeah,
There's a lot to think about with that line, just in terms of, like, what the fuck does that even look like? Who's the boss?
Because I will be your slave means nothing to a fae creature or to a man in real life.
You can't have two slaves in a relationship.
Because you wouldn't. His is bullshit because he's the Goblin King. He's full of shit, everything.
He did so much for her. He added a 13th hour to the clock. He built a whole labyrinth, maybe. I don't know, maybe it was there before.
In his own realm that he freely controls on a whim. Not
I know. I'm just saying what he thinks. Because when he's just like, I did so much for you to make this all happen. I took the baby, and then I set up this whole game where you could die. And also I added the 13th hour, which means every hour has 5 extra minutes. So how long has it actually been?
Which is, all right, so that's something that the Fae are known for doing. They get you to initiate this promise, based on usually tricking you or by taking something that you've said in hyperbole and twisting it and making it real. Whatever it is, you do that, and then they get to feel like, well, I did what you asked me to. I am the victim here because you are now trying to change our arrangement. So now I need more from you. So you are now trying to take your brother back, which goes against our original contract. So I'm going to need a wife, please. And that's how they work.
It makes sense.
They are in chess brain. They are thinking several steps ahead at all times, waiting for you to change your mind about your contract that you didn't want to make with them in the first place, so that they can get what they really wanted from you, which was a Stockholm bride.
Do you think that was like just a sex thing, or do you think that because the age?
Yeah.
Or do you think that the Goblin King was genuinely lonely for non-puppet interactions? Because I feel like in Dance Magic we see when that opens up, we see that the Goblin King is really over not having anyone to talk to who's of flesh and not puppet.
Yeah. I think there are some burdens with being a Goblin King. I think that we all do need to recognize that. But
man, and I know the canon origin story now, and you don't, because you won't read that fucking comic, even though it's so good. It's only like 20 pages long.
All right, I have to watch it. I do.
It's not a watch, it's a read. It's a comic.
Read it. I have to read it. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
What's the best song?
Oh, you know what? I think it's the Fire Gang song. I think that's the best one. Chilly Down.
Yeah, I wasn't making a confused face. I was making a disapproving face.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's because
what do you like, As the World Falls Down? Yeah. You.
It's so romantic.
It is not.
It's
so
definitely not. It's
creepy.
Definitely fucked up. But when I was a kid, I thought it was the most romantic scene in any movie ever.
Oh my God, I was so bored by that scene.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, Sarah, oh my God. I gave up so easily.
First of all, she was roofied.
I know.
But it's out of context, it just seems like the most heartfelt song. And she's in this scary place with all these beautiful women, and he just stalks her. Aww. And what a dream.
He only has the energy to stalk one child bride at a time.
You know what? Jesus Christ. What are we being groomed for by this movie? She literally
What aren't we
roofied.
being groomed for? Yeah.
She gets kidnapped and then roofied.
She gets roofied by her best friend to wingman her predator the Goblin King.
Diana, don't make it like that.
That's what happens. But this is what stories about the Fae are like. This is why Jim Henson did a damn good job. The stories of the Fae are literally all about sexual assault.
I know, and like, the fruit is a pretty pivotal piece for capturing.
Yeah.
But like, but did Jim Henson do a good job of choosing to tell a story to children that was going to groom them for like, a lifetime of
absolutely
being taken advantage
not.
Of, and romanticizing being completely fucking manipulated?
Yeah, it's definitely romanticized, and I definitely still, even though I knew it was fucked up, I definitely still cried my eyes out when she had to say goodbye to Hoggle, because I really felt like he was her best friend, and he fucking drugged her so that she could be assaulted by the Goblin King.
Well, he didn't really know her yet, and his own life was at risk. And he clearly was very conflicted about it.
He was very clearly jealous of Jareth.
No.
Yeah. He wanted Sarah
Hoggle's
to love him.
Neckbeard.
Yeah. No kidding.
Diana,
he's named
you're
Hoggle,
killing
and
me.
he's yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry, Avalon. Sorry to ruin all this for you.
I mean, I never loved Hoggle.
No, I did not love Hoggle.
But that is gross. I loved, you know who I loved? I loved Ludo.
Ludo. We all love Ludo.
Oh. And you love Sir Didymus.
I do love Sir Didymus.
Sir Didymus or Sir Bidymus?
Sir Didymus.
I thought
Didymus
Sir Bidymus, but Sir Didymus. Okay.
Sir Didymus, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Sir Didymus is fine. I thought he was, you know what? I thought that he was very fun, but I felt like he joined the party too late for me to truly care about him.
I thought that he was the perfect balance between the perfect innocence of Ludo
let's
the
do alignments.
sinister. What?
I want alignments.
Yeah. The all right, so Ludo is I think neutral good.
I think so too, but don't forget about the rocks. Do the rocks, like them being his brothers and him having this sort of like weird alliance with like rocks, which I feel like are representative of a true neutral force. Like I want that to factor into our explanation right now.
That's why I think crazy. No, I'm not. That's why I think he's like more a neutral good and not a chaotic or lawful. I think Sir Didymus is a lawful good.
Yes.
Sir Didymus has a very strong code. He really believes in it. He believes in friendship and loyalty and his own code of conduct, but he is truly good in his heart. Hoggle is chaotic evil, I think. Or maybe
I'm going to say neutral.
Neutral evil. He does change his alignment
maybe
based on his
neutral.
own selfish desires at any given point.
Going true neutral on Hoggle.
Yeah, no, maybe you're right. Yeah,
because also he's got the magpie thing. He's got the like collector thing, and I feel like that almost is like a code, right? Like his own sense of like trade or equity.
No, I
exchange.
think it's just another part of his selfishness is that he just likes things and to have things and will act any certain way to get his things, including women. Yeah.
I feel so gross about that now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm here to ruin everything.
That can challenge that at all.
Yeah.
What about Ambrosia? My eye is twitching again. Thank you.
You're welcome. Ambrosia the dog?
Yeah.
I have to imagine that Ambrosia the dog is probably lawful good as well, or maybe
no, because he's a scaredy cat and he does not give a fuck about the things Sir Didymus gives a fuck about.
That's true. He's also a dog. Do we have to give him an alignment? He's like the only creature in the labyrinth that's actually his own.
He's a dog because he doesn't talk, but we could also maybe assume that he is fully cognizant. Do
you remember that one scene where he's suddenly a puppet just to illustrate how scared he is, but then he goes back to being a real dog?
Does he like slowly hide behind something? Like, does he come up like chattering?
And he chatters his teeth like.
Yes, I do. I will say, to me, the biggest flaw in Labyrinth is the battle. It's really long. And
it's a very
really
long battle.
Boring.
I don't think it's boring. I think that
I think it gets very old because it's just a lot of very fake looking tubular rocks so that they roll correctly instead of being like round. And a lot of slapstick from the guards of the labyrinth. Like
that was established from them earlier on when we met Ludo. They're very slapsticky.
I know,
They're
but
very
it's just too much of it. Like when I was a kid, I would fast forward the VHS through that part.
Oh, okay. Well, I liked the big robot at the gates. That fight I liked a lot.
Yeah, no, that part's fine. I mean, just when they're like in the city and they're like in and out of the building, the little town.
I always like scenes like that in movies where this big, battle has been leading up to this point and this penultimate, and you have this really ultimately scary bad guy like Jareth, who is endlessly powerful and just so strong and so fortified. And to get to him, you have to fight like all of the most idiotic creatures who can't fight at all. And it reminds me of like him watching that like through the glass and being like amazed that like his goblin army is just dying because they're confused. Reminds me of the scene in Hook at the end where the Lost Boys board the pirate ship armed with eggs and mirrors, and his pirates who have guns and swords are just throwing themselves off the ship, like dying voluntarily, stabbing each other in the chest. And Dustin Hoffman like looks out over this chaos like, I'm fucking Captain Hook. Like and that's what that scene reminds me of, and I honestly love it. It's like the lead up to the big bad is just a bunch of nonsense.
I changed my mind. I like that song better. I like the MC Escher song the best.
What?
I like the like when they're in the MC Escher like stairs.
Oh,
that is my favorite song.
Oh, right.
It's like the How You Turn My World, You Precious Thing.
That is a good song. That is a very good song. I just like the Fire Gang and how messed up they are. I think
I liked them a lot as a kid. I know a lot of people who were a little too scared of them as kids, and it almost ruined the movie for them.
Yeah.
I feel that way about Dark Crystal. It was way too scary for me. But the Fire Gang I thought was like fun.
Yeah, they were fun, and like they really just genuinely wanted to help. But I feel like
I don't think they wanted to help.
I think they wanted her to have fun with them in their way of having fun. It's representative of how we need to be sensitive of our cultural differences, because what's fun for you may not be fun for someone else, and they needed to respect personal boundaries. But
that's the Sesame Street lesson that I got from that as a kid too, is that like you really need to communicate and not assume that other people's fun is the same as your fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, genuinely. I just kind of felt like if Sarah stopped screaming and running and just explained to them that her head doesn't come off, that they all could have like had a lot of fun chilling together.
Yeah, they could have been chilling down.
Yes. She needed to chill down.
She needed to chill down. I do think that if the Fire Gang had been a part of that final fight, it may be more of a challenge. I think that our protagonists maybe would not have made it out.
Oh no! If the Fire Gang were truly like working for Jareth and bad, and not just having fun, the movie would be over.
Yeah.
I did hate that one. I hated the fat one, and I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry if that is like some kind of a weird fat shaming bias, but I just hated when his tongue came out and he was like, whoa.
Yeah. I don't think it was about his weight. I think it was about his behavior.
But why did they make the only fat one also the grossest acting one?
Jim Henson, take a seat. We need to talk about your biases. Oh, Ludo. Poor Ludo.
Remember when he sits down really hard and he doesn't understand why?
Yeah. Oh.
Ludo is Sam.
Ludo is Sam.
Rename Sam Ludo, please.
That's That's her name. Oh, I have to. Oh, Ludo is Sam. Sam's just snoring right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Give me an alignment for the Fire Gang.
The Fire Gang, I think...
They're chaotic
They'd
neutral.
be true chaotic. Yeah, chaotic neutral.
Okay. But that means that can't be Hoggle.
Hoggle's not chaotic neutral. He's a true neutral.
Okay.
Yeah, he only cares about whatever his immediate wants are, and that's it.
I feel like for us to be talking about alignments in the Fae realm, we have a weird amount of neutral, where you would think we would have a ton of order.
No, there's no order in the Fae realm. Their order is chaos in the Fae realm. Their rules are constantly changing based on what they want at any given time.
But their rules make sense to them, and it is all about rules.
It's all about tricks. Their rules are tricks. You know, like, there are so many rules that they contradict each other constantly, and that there's no possible way to follow them all. That's the, like...
But it makes sense to them.
I think it makes sense to them.
I mean, I'm not talking about Labyrinth. I'm just talking about, like, actual Fae. I feel like with the courts and then this and then that, I think that's definitely order and not chaotic.
No, I think very few in the Fae would be considered chaotic.
Okay.
I think that the Fire Gang are the exception to that.
All right, so I'm going to circle back around on this because I think there are two continuity errors that I want to talk about.
Okay.
One, and both were things that I spent a lot of time thinking about in middle school and I haven't gotten to talk to anyone about.
Heck yes.
One, and I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it more clearly. By adding another hour to the clock, you add 5 minutes to every hour, and therefore Sarah actually gets like 14 hours and 5 minutes.
How does that work? I'm sorry, I'm bad at this.
So the clock goes to 13 hours instead of 12. 13 is the number at the top of the clock. Assuming that's an extra 5 minutes for every hour because it has to go around each time, it actually ends up being over 14 hours.
Yeah.
So there you go. Number two.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I
guess you could say just that, like, there aren't 5 minutes in every whatever. But too bad. And then the other thing I want to say is that riddle, they fucked it up.
No, they didn't. The doors riddle?
Yes.
No. How did they fuck that up?
I'm reserving the right to be wrong about this because I haven't thought about it since I was very young. But I'm very aware of that, like, one of us tells the truth and one of us lies thing, and that works. That riddle works.
Yeah.
But to my recollection, something happens in the middle of that exchange that makes it, that, like, fucks it up so that it doesn't actually make sense with the door that she went through.
Okay. So maybe, like, they just panned on the wrong door.
Correct. At one point. And then it's just like, wait. That's I don't know. I had a sleepover with a friend.
What
and we tried to figure
happens?
it out
I know
for a
exactly
while.
what you're talking about. The riddle is done well.
Yes.
But when she's talking to them originally, she's facing them and she's on, like, the right side talking to the door. The camera panning changes in that final scene and shows them flipped. So she's talking to the same door. It looks the same, but it's flipped. It's inverted. It looks like she's standing on the left side. Because I remember being really fucked up about that when the camera turns. It's a camera issue, and I don't think it's meant to be anything. I think.
Oh my gosh. That's amazing that you remember that, and you just solved many years of me wondering if they did that on purpose or not.
I don't think so.
I think is there a lesson here where, like, they were both lying, or is there a lesson here where she needed to go to the hand tunnel, or, like, why is this wrong?
Yeah. No, I think it really is just a camera, like a poor camera choice, because it always bothered me as a kid. I didn't think of it in a way of I never thought of it as the riddle being wrong. I was just always messed up that she was walking in the wrong direction, because if they had kept the camera correctly, she would have been walking, like, to the left, but like, when they pan it back, she's walking into the right, and so it looks like she's walking in a different door.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
But does Sarah, so assuming that the riddle is correct and that it's just camera work, does Sarah get it right?
Sarah got the riddle right. She got the riddle correct.
Then why did she fall down the hole?
That was, like, just a whole new trick. If she had told them to bring her back up so that she could go back on her fucking path, because what, I guess I'm pointed this way.
Yeah,
so
you're
that's
literally
where
pointed both ways, first of all.
I'm pointed this way already. What an idiot.
Also, like how,
God.
like we see it from the side, right? We see this sort of bisected tunnel of hands. Can you imagine being inside the tunnel if the camera work was looking straight down below her feet and the darkness and all of those like kind of vaguely moving, squirmy hands? How fucking scary it would be, and why would anyone make that choice?
No
because
one would
one
ever
thing when
make
you're
that
in an
choice.
open side tunnel, sure.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. No one would ever make that choice. That's where Sarah becomes like completely unrelatable to me. I'm like, what is wrong with you?
That's where Sarah becomes unrelatable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like when, you know, in a horror movie, when they run upstairs and like into inescapable territories and like lock themselves in a bathroom or whatever.
As opposed to running outside into the yard where you're definitely going to get killed, I will definitely run into the bathroom. Every time.
You're running into a place where you've run out of places to go.
But at least I know that I can't get jump scared with my back against the wall.
Yeah, you're just going to get regular scared when you get murdered.
You would rather, I mean, if I'm going to get murdered either way, murder me in a bathtub. Don't murder me running through the woods where I trip and fall and then.
Well,
like,
also, don't run through the woods.
Tree.
Like, you're in suburbia. Run down the street screaming instead of like just running up into a secluded location that is now elevated many stories up and you can't get down.
I'm way more traumatized by like the opening of the first Scream movie than any other serial killer movie.
What was the opening scene of that one?
Oh geez, it's what's her face? Oh my god.
Rose McGowan?
No. More famous.
Hang on, my doorbell's ringing? That's weird. My tent for Eagle Island just showed up.
Nice.
Yay.
No, the beginning of Scream is just Drew Barrymore getting murdered in her front yard while her mom is like 10 yards away, but she got like she got hit in the throat or whatever, so she can't scream.
Yeah. So
I would rather just die in my bathtub.
All right. I guess we all have choices that we have to make when there's a
I just poured a lot of coffee on myself, really, for no good reason.
We were talking about she's in the oubliette.
Oh yeah. Real, like, putting this in perspective in terms of how old I am is that I have a very distinct memory of trying to figure out if oubliette was a real thing or a Jim Henson word and trying to spell it phonetically and look it up in the dictionary, like the hard dictionary. Yeah. Which feels like such a weird pre-internet thing.
It is.
And obviously, I have no background in French, so I never figured out how the fuck to spell it.
Yeah. I was treated like an idiot for thinking that it was a real word. Yeah.
Can I pee, actually?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you looking up oubliette?
Yeah, because I wanted to see, I wanted to remember the exchange that I had accurately.
Okay, good.
Now
all right, I'm going to pee.
Go ahead.
So, Diana.
Yeah.
There's a little background that you don't have. Well, maybe you have it. I don't know what you have. So, when we got engaged on my birthday. We eloped like 3 days later. Mm-hmm. We decided not to tell anybody that we got married. Like, the intention was never to tell them and just have a wedding and pretend. Yeah. Just to take some of the stress off. And also to go ahead and start getting better insurance rates, like, without having to wait 3 years to save up for a wedding. And that kind of imploded, but when we went home for Christmas that year, like a month after, I think Francis was having so much anxiety about lying about it that he just immediately was really like let the cat out of the bag in terms of his like groomsmen, I think, to make himself feel better about it. But then, of course, when we later told everybody we were already married, like, it made it kind of weird with some of his groomsmen because they felt like they hadn't just been lied to by omission, they had been lied to in like a weirdly direct way.
Right.
Specifically his best man, who is his who's going to be a stepdad, I think is a very sort of stoic guy, and I think he like was very, very touched that he was asked, and then I think he was very hurt
that it turned out. Yeah, gotcha.
So anyway, but like for Francis also there was and myself by extension, there was sort of like a layer of like, no shit, you have to ask these people because he has so many siblings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So basically he and I have had our bridal parties like very set from day one because of Francis's anxiety, and also very set from day one because of Francis's siblings.
Right.
But so like the reason I had a crazy anxiety dream last night was because I need Francis to add a groomsman, and he said he wanted to add Chris, and then I woke up last night or this morning like, but I wanted Chris to play music while we walk up the aisle. But obviously I needed him to add Chris because I didn't have room for you, and I need you to be one of my bridesmaids. But I already, had asked like 2 years ago for like, I filled it up. So we had to make a new spot.
Is that real? Are you doing this right now?
Yeah.
On the podcast?
I'm not gonna make you anything cute to send in the mail because I didn't do that for anybody. I just told everybody. Basically, I just said to people like, you're my only. Like, I only have 2 friends.
Wait, who are do I know who the others are?
Seneca, who came to my brunch that one time.
Yes.
And then Michaela, who you've never met, but is like.
But I see all the time on Facebook,
she's the best.
Yeah.
And then cousin Meg.
Oh, that's so nice. That's
and
really
then
nice.
Francis's 2 sisters.
Cool. Oh wow, that's a bigger wedding party than I thought. That's
I want like none or one or I don't know. Anyway, it had to be 5 because he has 5 brothers.
Right.
But yeah.
Oh, Avalon, thank you. You're
welcome. I'm sorry that I'm not doing it like cuter. I just don't.
This is so
I don't want to be that person. Like I with the message in the bottle. I don't know.
No, I know. My sister did the whole cute message in the bottle thing,
cute.
but you know what? Like,
it's just so after the fact for me, and like the people who've been established, like basically everybody in my bridal party is just like at this point, like just fucking let us know if this is happening and when. Like every year they're like, is it happening this year? Okay.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't think anything of it because we became, obsessed with each other like after you had already like planned things. So I was not.
It's been very stressful for me though.
What has been?
Well, that you like figuring out how you're gonna be one of them.
Avalon, I can't believe you kept this to yourself.
It's just been stressing me out, and I also didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to tell you, and for you to be another one of like 10 people who are like, "Is it happening? Is it ever happening?" So
I
just
literally
now that we
don't
like
care.
have a venue
it
and
could
sort
never
of a month.
happen.
Yeah,
it could never happen, and I'd still be excited that you just asked me that question.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right,
okay,
and I'm feeling like so far at least very what do I want to say? I guess very democratic about it. I don't have a of honor.
Do you need that? It
grosses me out.
Yeah,
the whole thing already grosses me out. So,
yeah,
I just want you to know that there's no boss. So
Yeah.
if behind the scenes things like fucking fall apart, it's my fault for not instilling a leader.
We don't need there. I don't think there needs to be. I don't think there really needs to be a leader. Like I was the maid of honor for my sister's wedding, but literally like every person except for obviously one person contributed to everything. Like, money wise and like planning ideas and stuff like that. I just set up a group chat and like instigated conversations. Like it didn't really.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
I'm so happy.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
Oh my god, that's so exciting.
I'll try to make your dress so cheap.
It could be literally whatever you want. I will dress in a duck
$1
costume
million.
if you want me to. I don't care.
Oh my god, I do want you to dress in a duck costume.
Yeah. I will dress like Hoggle to your wedding if you want me to.
Don't tempt me. Because holy shit, that would be really awesome.
Yeah.
not if it was just you, but if everybody were. If it was like that final scene. It's the final
the final
pillow
scene is the
party
reception.
scene.
That's what happens. Yeah.
And Francis is the owl on the outside.
I didn't realize Francis had 5 brothers.
Well, he has 4 and then his stepdad.
Okay. Still, yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize,
he has 4 brothers and 2 sisters. And none of them are full.
Oh, all like half siblings.
Or step.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about the oubliette.
Okay, right. So the in the Labyrinth, I am 99% sure that they pronounce it oubliette with like a G.
Oh.
And so I was looking it up for so long to try to find that out as a kid and couldn't find it. I used the word in a joke, like about, because I remembered hearing at some point that it was a real thing. It was like a real word for like just a hidden dungeon with only one way out.
Yeah.
And so I used the word in a joke like a couple of years ago and was like mocked mercilessly that it is not a real word. And the person that was mocking me mercilessly did not tell me that they knew it was a real word, that I was only saying one letter off.
Oh.
It's oubliette with a B.
Yeah.
Is the real word.
I wonder if I was looking it up with a G too. I mean, it's an impossible word to try to figure out the spelling of as a young person without the internet.
Yeah, without autocorrect helping us, yeah.
Or like a French teacher.
Yeah, French. It's just, I was so mad because they acted like I had just made some shit up completely.
Yeah.
And I was just off by one letter, and it's a real word.
I want to ask this question because I like the question, but I feel like I already know the answer, and that disappoints me. So maybe I'm going to ask it, and then it can go in a direction where I'll learn something new.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what is it?
Fuck, marry, kill.
Oh my God. Okay.
Ludo, Sir Didymus, and Hoggle. But I know what you're going to say. I guess I don't know who you're going to marry.
This is the worst edition of Fuck, Marry, Kill ever.
Oh,
the only one that's easy is Kill
Hoggle.
Hoggle.
Yeah. Nah,
But
I know that
really,
now.
This is very upsetting.
Honestly, he might have been my Mary if we hadn't had that conversation.
I'm so sorry I ruined that for you.
No,
Who
I'm
would
so
you have
sorry.
Killed?
I'm so sorry that you fucking let me know. I don't know. All right, let me think about it.
Oh my God. Okay. I would, all right, Kill Hoggle. And then,
Fucking
you know
friend zone motherfucker. I just am dealing with that right now. Okay.
yeah. So, oh God. I think that I would have to, oh God, I don't want to say it. I think I would have to fuck Ludo.
Yeah, I think I'd have to
marry
fuck
Sir
Ludo too.
Didymus. Like, only because I don't know.
Because you can't marry him because he's like got the mind of a child.
Oh no! Because I don't think
So
it's
you
that.
have to fuck him.
I just think he's like, he's too.
Is it easier
He
if I had
doesn't-
ambrosia in?
He doesn't speak.
Yeah, you can't
know,
be married to him.
You can't talk about anything. Like,
Right.
I feel like Sir Didymus would get annoying, but like I
Yeah.
would be able to like maintain conversation.
Right,
With him.
but no,
And-
I agree. Ludo
Yeah.
is basically like having a pet more so.
Yeah. Exactly.
So you gotta fuck him, yeah. I think I probably originally would have murdered Sir Didymus. Because I think he's
Really?
really annoying.
He's pretty annoying, but I love him.
I think that I don't hate him. I just think he's a little annoying. And I guess I used to think that Hoggle was like #true friend.
No.
Which just really shows how we're all still on a journey.
#drug you so that I can have a chance. Yeah. Ooh, man. Oh, I just got full of rage. So,
Ooh, there it is.
Ooh, there it is. I feel it now. So okay. So Hoggle then goes and gets her out of the oubliette because Jareth has threatened him and says that it's time to lead her, back all the way to the beginning.
But that makes me think that Jareth, I mean, she would have been better off just being in the oubliette for 13 hours. Like, why did Jareth need to lead her back to the beginning?
To make her lose all hope. She needed to lose all hope. She's come this
I mean,
far,
I would have
and now
lost
you have
more
to start.
hope in the fucking oubliette.
The thing is, she probably could have figured her way out eventually on her own, and that would have given her too much self-worth. She needed a man to come in and get her out, and then she needed to have to be faced with the prospect of starting all over again.
Why are you doing this, Diana?
Because it's the truth, and you need to face the truth, Avalon. He was trying to break her spirit down entirely and to take away any and all self-worth that she had remaining. She couldn't do anything on her own.
All right, so tell me if I'm taking this too far. Okay. From a literary standpoint, I am starting to read into the fact that Toby was more valuable as a child.
Yes.
Than she was.
Well, that's not necessarily true. Toby would have become another goblin slave. So the
implication, right, is that all of the goblins used to be children that were kidnapped?
Yeah, they are.
That gets a little confusing for me with the origin story.
Not all of them.
I think Toby would have been groomed to be like a new Goblin King.
I think that's the implication there.
But Sarah's not being. But why isn't Sarah being groomed to be a Goblin Queen instead of being a sex slave? This is what I'm saying.
That's what the Goblin Queen is. The Goblin Queen is a sex slave.
No, I mean like a Goblin ruler. Yeah. Why isn't Sarah being groomed to be like Jareth's fucking replacement instead of Toby?
Because Jareth doesn't need a replacement yet. He wants a sex slave. Well, by the time Toby grows up and becomes, especially in Fae time where there's 14 hours,
for every
clock. For every, where time is completely subjective. By the time he grows up, then maybe Jareth will be ready to retire. But right now, Jareth has got plenty of time left to reign, and he wants, someone to
Jareth
obey him.
Fucking this whole time?
No one. I think that's the problem. Or she, escaped or disobeyed him or broke her pact and became, one of the fire gang or whatever. We don't know. We don't know what happens to the women, after he gets bored with them.
Holy shit. That's what the fire gang is.
Yeah, the fire gang is like this the group of angry exes.
I wish that somebody could have taken my pulse when you suggested that amazing fan theory. Because those weird roller derby runaway goblin queens.
The fire gang are all lesbian ex-wives of the Goblin King. Change my mind.
Oh my god. I love that. And that explains their issue with boundaries.
Yeah.
That explains why they saw Sarah and they were like, take off her head.
Sarah, come with us. Be one of us.
She's one of us.
They're just trying to skip ahead to the part where she becomes one of them. They already know what's happening. They've been through it.
And they've also gone insane from their time in that relationship, so they are also a little bit crazy.
They're a little bit crazy. They're in post-abuse status as well, but also they've been living in the Fae realm where nothing makes fucking sense, so they're
living like in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason.
But they still have like good hearts. They like see Sarah walking down and they're like, oh, let's just stop her from going through all of that misery and make her one of us now. She'll be happier.
Let's sing the song that makes people want to chill out with us.
Yeah. It's like when a bunch of like divorcees offer you a bunch of rosé like at brunch and
Diana, I think this is the smartest thing that you've ever thought of.
I am
fucking freaking out.
I know it. I know you are.
Oh my god, I'm so excited. Please write this down. Please write this down.
I will do this. This is my new project.
We had another fan fiction though that we started with this. Oh, it was the sequel.
Yeah, the sequel. So we have two directions, but I don't think they invalidate each other at all.
No,
the sequel.
They don't.
No, the sequel
We've got
is
some
about
really
how we
fucking good stuff here.
Yeah, we do. It's amazing.
We've got a prequel and a sequel.
Yeah.
No, not a prequel. We've got a spin-off and a sequel.
A spin-off, yeah, because we need to do the real ex-wives of the Goblin King.
I need a better name. I need something that brings like Fire Gang or Chili Down in with like ex-wives.
Yeah. All right. We're going to have to brainstorm. Anybody has any ideas to help us with this? Very welcome. And I'll get to work on a script
I'm really
pronto.
excited.
Yeah.
All right. So what I sense that we're going too long. So like what is there anything we haven't said that's important to you about Labyrinth?
Okay, what's important to me is that I have a hard time with movies that make the protagonist say goodbye to their friends that they've had throughout the movie. Like this is a problem for me. I can't like handle in movies. Like I cry saying goodbye when the protagonist has to say goodbye to the friends or people that she or he has been with all this time, to go back to reality, is a really hard thing for me. I hate it the most. I will cry right now if we just turn on the last scene of Drop Dead Fred. I will start crying,
dude. But that's like loaded.
Yeah.
Also, if that's your issue, don't fucking watch that Christopher Robin movie, Diana.
Really? I already know I'm gonna cry during that movie. But yeah, in the Labyrinth, the fact that she has to say goodbye to all of them, especially Ludo and Sir Didymus, you know, obviously fuck Hoggle, but the fact that she has to say goodbye to them and go back to like real life, like really, I don't know, it just really fucking ruins my life, because I'm like, why? You now know that this is all real. Like, why do you have to say goodbye to it? Yeah, so I have problems with that. I have problems, again, Hook having to say goodbye to the fucking Lost Boys. I have so many issues with scenes like that in movies. So that's the final thing that I'll say about why Labyrinth causes me agonizing pain.
No, but they have them all party at the end, though.
They do party at the end, but I think the implication is they're gone. And like you can like reminisce about them and like, you know, have some fantasies here and there, but they're gone now. You don't get to go back.
That's also a lesson for Sarah in terms of her mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, Sarah. Maybe she won't treat her brother like shit anymore.
I hope she treats him worse. Fuck that kid.
Yeah.
Toby.
He got kidnapped. So I think the last thing maybe I want to talk about is I think we need to really hunker down on what our cosplay would be. Me, you, and Francis. Labyrinth. Did we decide that I'm Toby?
Well, we threw a lot of things around. Oh. I would be happy with you being... Well, now I don't want you to be Hoggle. I'd be happy with you being Toby. Mm-hmm. I'd be happy with you being the garbage dump lady. I'd be happy.
I mean, I'll just clean up my apartment and put it all on my back.
On your back.
There you go.
I'd be happy with you being the worm.
Aww.
I'd be happy with you being Sir Didymus. Basically anything
be?
That's smaller than me.
Yeah.
If we're doing a group costume, I think it makes...
Do you want to be a fire gang?
No, I think fire gang only makes sense with a bunch of fire gang. I think I want to be Sarah, but I feel like really shitty about that.
No, you should be Sarah. I mean, of the three of us, you're the one that looks the most like a human woman.
I don't know. I actually think Francis would make a better Sarah than me.
I think Francis has got to be... I think he's got to be the Goblin King. I mean, I just feel like he knows how to wear a pair of tights.
Is Francis the Goblin King already?
I think he's already the Goblin King. I just spent a couple days on an island that was pretty much the Fey realm with Francis, and I'm going to say that I think he's the Goblin King, and I think you're Sarah.
I'm not Sarah in the relationship.
Well,
but
no, you're definitely not.
But I could be Sarah in the cosplay.
In the cosplay.
Yeah. I guess he's a lot like a Fey ruler in the sort of like, let's say like wanton needs and demands and emotions.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we get that fucking Odysseus thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Odysseus to like the motorboat thing to like,
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Were you the one who told me about like the buyer's remorse comment at prom about my relationship with Francis? Was it Adrian that said that?
Yeah, I think it was Adrian who said it, who, like, when at one point Francis was climbing a tree very intoxicated while we were all singing Be a Man from Mulan.
Yes.
And Francis climbed this very weak-looking tree that was bending and swaying. And a lot of people looked worried, myself included, and a couple of people looked over horrified at Avalon, his wife, like being like, oh my God, you poor thing. And Adrian And Adrian goes, nope, nobody feel bad for her. She looked at that and said, forever.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, I love that a lot. Yeah.
Did I look worried?
At one point, you looked a little bit concerned when like the branches started to break underneath his feet. Yeah.
I'm usually not very worried.
Yeah, usually you're fine, but
I've had like a lot of exposure therapy.
Yeah.
He's never gotten hurt.
Yeah. It's, you know what? He's less like Jareth the Goblin King and more just like Rumpelstiltskin. Like I feel like he is definitely a fae trickster god, but he's not Jareth. He's not. He's not like a predator. He's a chaos god among the fae.
Oh Jesus! Well, do you have fun camping?
I had a great time camping. I am loving the fact that I'm actually tan now. I've never been like this in my life, and like real life still feels a little surreal. I've been at work 2 days, and I'm like,
where's the beer?
Where's the beer? Where's the beef jerky? Where's the beer? Things just have not been like back to normal yet, so it feels very strange. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm glad you came, especially for the whole thing, and I'm glad we talked about Labyrinth, even though there's so much more to say. I think it's time.
It's absolutely time. It's absolutely.
Did I make you late for work?
No, not at all, because we started so much earlier than normal. But this is a long episode we've got going on. So what are you doing with the rest of your day after this?
I think I have one of my jobs. Oops, I dropped my headphones, sorry. I have my library job, the one that, like, is new.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I have my regular job that I...
Yeah. And then we leave for Tortuga Friday morning, so we're supposed to pack tonight. I'm not emotionally ready to be packing for a bender weekend.
Wow, I cannot believe. Who's going on that? Just the two of you?
No, well, it's the two of us and all of our pirate friends.
Oh, right.
And they don't really overlap in our lives outside of pirate-related events, but they're really nice.
Cool.
And it'll be
that's
good.
going to be fun. I want to see a lot of pictures. I'm very excited about that.
I'll try. It's one of those things where, like, we don't take pictures usually. Not because it's, like, so risque, but you just, like, forget your phone.
Right.
For a week.
No, that makes sense. That's how I was with camping, pretty much.
Yeah, it's the same as that. But then there's the added pressure of your phone not being, like, anachronistic. Not like anybody's shitty, but it just seems weird to have it out when everybody's trying so hard to be a pirate.
In character. Yeah,
Francis puts his GoPro on a parrot. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Francis is next level.
Yeah.
All right, so
we're done.
We're done. We're going to be back to our regular scheduled programming soon, but in the meantime, you guys can find us in like all these different places and interact with us, and we miss you. Please do that. No more hate mail. We're back.
I actually checked the email for the first time.
You did.
But we're not going to talk about that today. We'll talk about that next time.
Yeah, we will.
All right. So Instagram is Femsplained Podcast. Twitter is Femsplained Cast. Facebook, Femsplained Podcast. Our non-existent blog is femsplained.wordpress.com. Twitter is at, I already said it, so I'm not going to say it again. And that's all of it.
That's it. Please, wherever you're listening to us, if it's Stitcher, it's iTunes, it's Spotify, whatever, please just leave us that little review, leave us a little blurb, put a star, preferably 5
stars
of them.
or none.
And just help us out with that if you are listening to this and enjoy it. It would mean a lot to us. And then you can email us at femsplainedpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah. If you're someone we know in real life or someone we don't know in real life, thank you for listening. I would love it if you continue to do so. Recommend us to a friend. Or don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to tell you what to do. That's enough. Sorry, that was gross.
Oh, that was cute. Just yell our podcast name out in large
during
crowds.
Sex.
Or during sex, yes. Or preferably both.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, Diana, I'm going to go put on a real shirt and eat something.
I'm going to go put on my stupid scrubs.
Eat something.
And eat something, I guess. All right.
Bye.
Bye.